Okay, this is going to be a quick tutorial on the history brush. So now you'll see that I'm using the same image from earlier today. And I want to show you a neat option that you can do using patterns and brushes. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to learn to use your brush tool, which allows you to paint things on your picture. Let's go ahead and pretend that I wanted to paint red stripes. Okay, I can do that. You can also use a history brush tool. And this brush is two tools down from the brush, and it has this arrow. And if you hold it down, you'll see that there's a history brush and an art history brush. Okay, now the art history brush allows you to do things that are likened to other artists. Okay, so again, I don't use that. I am trying to find a reason that you would use that, but I'm sure there's a reason out there. But what I like to do is use the history brush all the time. The history brush allows me to get back to a state of the previous image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a pattern around here to make it look like this was painted on a piece of cardstock. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is select all of my canvas, and you'll see that it highlights everything, and I'm going to delete it, and I want to fill it with a color. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill it with, sure, let's use this deep red, or let's use maybe more of a hot pinky. Okay, so I say okay, and I get this nice canvas. I'm going to deselect that. Deselect is Command D, so that's how I always get anything unselected if I've inadvertently selected something without my knowing, or if I need to just get back to normal state. Now, the history brush says that I can go over into my history panel, and I can place the history brush anywhere along the path here, and I can return my image to that state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return it to the point before I selected the canvas, and I'm going to use my brush tool. I'm going to come over here to the brush options up here, and I'm going to select from this little settings, I'm going to go to thick and heavy brushes. I'm going to click append so that all my brushes show up, and I'm going to choose brush 111. Now this is what I'm recommending you try so that you have a feeling of adding the brushes and understanding what they do. Now this brush, once I come over to my canvas, I need to make it bigger, looks like this. And what that does is it allows me to sort of paint away the photo. Okay, and it makes it look like the photo is painted on to this canvas. So now that my photo wasn't so perfect before, I can really sort of add something interesting to it so that people don't notice that. Okay, now I would clean up the middle part where the people's faces are and leave the streaks sort of at the end. Okay, now what's really, really cool with this is that you can change your brush. So I've seen people use footprints. I've seen people use claw marks, especially in the yearbook world, because we tend to work with our mascot so much that people want to do like a bear claw and have it scratch away something. So we have this option to paint away and make it look like it's painted on canvas. And again, you can make it look as artsy as you want. But now you've added a border around your image that just looks different, right? It's not necessarily something that you would see all the time. Okay, so again, I'm going to go in and just clean this up a little bit. I like more of a streaky look. And all I'm doing is telling it to return to that old state, and it's creating. Now, if I mess up and do too far, I can just undo. Okay, so I'm going to send them all of these just for fun, because you never know what people like. Okay, now of course there are a million other ways to create a border like that. This is one of them, and that is your history brush.